Hey there everyone, welcome to the live stream. Hopefully we are good and we are live and everything is going well. I just had a quick technical issue at the very beginning there, so hopefully everything is good to go. If you are here, if you're watching, let me know in the chat so that I know that I am not alone here tonight. All right. I've got some goals set up. I've also got, let's see, where are we here? Also going to try something. And, nope, that's not it. Let's close that, let's close that. I'm going to try to get a bit of a different view on what's going on tonight so that you get the full picture. Now, I've got my phone here, and I want to see if this is going to work. All right. Picture in picture. It should do for me here. No? Oh, that is so... Hello, Trek Forward Creations. Welcome to the stream. So I've got this... What if I do... Oh, that's too bad. I had this really cool thing set up where I could wirelessly stream from my phone to the computer. But it doesn't seem to be working for me. So let's see. Let's see if I can add. Let's see if I can add here. And is it going to show for me? Unfortunately, no. So, not quite sure what's going on with that, but hopefully you'll be able to see things okay here tonight. So, all right, tonight's goals. I have a few goals, and first thing I need to do is recast. I'm going to show you what's going on here. I need to recast. Oh, we've got some more people. Can you boost volume on your microphone? Yeah, I can definitely boost the volume. That's not a problem. Is this better on the volume? And Steve Copsey, glad to make it. Great to have you here today. All right. So I've been working on my nacelles, and I've got a bit of an issue. I'm going to my phone should have worked. Let's try this one more time, because I would love to be able to just use my phone and show you what's going on here. We're going to try this one more time. One more time. It was working when I was testing it. So let's see if this works again, if this is actually going to work. So it should be sending. Nope. Nope. Doesn't look like it's going to work for me. Oh, that is so disappointing. So disappointing. I am not sure what's going on with that unless no, I know it. Yeah. Oh well. I'm going to adjust the camera, the actual camera, so you can see what is going on with this. All right. Let's see what I can do with this. The bubble is showing. All right. Let's zoom in on the bubble. Okay, how am I doing there? How am I doing there? Looks good. So let me get my pointer here. If you see right about there, and you can't really see it too much right now because there's no light in behind, but there is a nasty air bubble right there. Yeah, nasty, nasty air bubble. And I was thinking that it wouldn't be too bad. Yeah, I was thinking that it shouldn't be too bad, but definitely shows through, and that's gonna be no go. Definitely no go. This would have been so much easier had I been able to get that phone camera working with the stream. Oh well, you know. So my goal tonight is to start off by recasting this piece live on stream. And then I have a bunch of other things that I want to accomplish. I'll actually pull up the slide here and show you what it is I want to accomplish. So in tonight's stream, I want to recast the upper nacelle. I want to drill the post hole for the post that goes into the stand. I want to install the post mount. I want to install pylons, and I want to put the nacelle cast. I want to pull the nacelle cast from the mold. So those are my goals for tonight. We'll see just how much of that I can actually manage to get through. So first thing is first. You lost video? Or was it just that it went to the screen? Did you see the splash screen there for a moment? You should have seen the splash screen because I was walking through what was going on there. Okay, it's back again. Did you see the splash screen? Did you see that screen? I'm hoping that you saw that screen. If you saw that screen and then it went dark and then video, that's what it should have done. Yeah, okay, splash screen for a moment, good, because it has the list of all my goals on there, and I couldn't remember my goals off the top of my head, but I knew that the splash screen had the goals written right on it, so that's what I wanted to go back to make sure that I was getting everything done that I wanted to. So I've got the epoxy just heating a little bit, so I'm going to go over to where it's preheating. I'm going to pull the grab it here, turn the heater off so that I don't get heated out of this place because it's been getting quite warm. So I'm using Smooth Cast. It is a Smooth Cast clear resin. Comes in 2 parts. It is equal parts on both. So I shook it really well earlier, and then I let it sit so that the air bubbles came out, and it needs to be warmer than it is here in Kingston, Ontario. So I let it heat just a little bit, just for a couple minutes, so that it would run properly. So getting my supplies here, we should be all set to go. Now, if I was doing a large batch of resin, I would be using my respirator mask. Where's my Sharpie? There's my Sharpie. All right, we've got A and we've got B. So I'm going to mark A. I'm going to mark B. And And I'm going to put gloves on. That would be a very smart thing to do. I'm running low on gloves, and I'm not, take my wedding ring off there. I'm not quite sure where I'm going to get a resupply of gloves from. So if you're here in the stream tonight, let me know in the chat. So far, we've got Trek Forge Creations. We've got I'm sorry, I can't remember how you said to pronounce your name from last week. So you'll have to remind me. And we've got Steve Copsey in the chat. I do apologize. I'm horrible with names in the best of times, and I can't remember. You did tell me, and my apologies. Anyway, as I was saying, I'm starting to run low on vinyl masks, and I'm not masks. Prevy. No, Prevy. Huh? What? Pre-V. What is, sorry, what's that mean? I'm not sure. Anyway. I am doing a two-stage deal with the liquid here because I'm only going to need a very little bit, and I don't want to be dealing with large quantities of this stuff. So basically, I'm going to be taking a small amount of part A and part B into these pre-pour cups, essentially, because I don't want to waste my resin, and I need such a small amount because this, let me just make sure I have the right mold here. This is the mold. This is the inside of the mold. I'm going to bring that camera in a little bit more. Jake was mentioning that you couldn't see what I was doing last week, so that was kind of why I wanted to make sure my head's not cut off, and my head's cut off. That's why I wanted to have the phone camera there so that I could show you up close and personal what I was working on, and still not perfect. I'll just make sure that I keep everything I'm doing to the very front there. All right. Oh, so thought you were trying to do last names. You were distracted cutting out windows? Sorry, what are you cutting windows out on? Is that the E? Cutting windows out on the Enterprise E? Okay. So I have a selection of really small cups. They're actually communion cups. You can get them fairly inexpensively. They're really small. And I've got some pre-measured marks on a paper, and I'm going to mark on the cup just the second pre-measured line I've got. So just a little Sharpie mark on the glass that's going to tell me my pour levels. This is a 1-to-1 resin mix. And so I found the easiest way to deal with this is to just put some markings on the cups and pour from the bigger cup into the smaller cup until it reaches the line. So part A is in. And my cutting mat here has so many hard resins. Yeah, the 14E still. Honestly, it took me so long to do the windows on the E, but I would rather take a ton of time and have a product that I am happy with than rush through or just try to be done with it and then not have a product that I'm happy with. All right, so I've got the 2 parts that I need. I'm going to just set these aside for the moment, just in case I need a little bit more. But I will put it back into the container so that I can use it for next time. So, little coffee stir stick, parts A and part B. This is all it's going to take to fill this mold to hopefully get a much better result out of it. So I need a little bit of tape, and doing these nacelles, pouring these nacelles is super tricky. They are super finicky. I don't have a pressure pot, so I can't pressure pot air bubbles out. So I have to be really careful how I'm pouring it, and which is why I got nasty bubbles the first time. The tape I'm just using to wrap the mold to keep the resin in place. Okay, so I'm going to pour part A into part B. And I'm going to mix the 2 thoroughly together. When they first get poured in together, they're cloudy. And what I've discovered is I mix until it goes clear. Once it goes clear, it's pretty much mixed together. And I only have like 3 minutes of working time on this. So I really want to make sure that I work with this quickly and efficiently. Okay, so it's adequately mixed. I'm going to pour, this is where that other camera would have come in really handy. I'm going to pour the first bit in very slowly until it comes up. I'm going to close it. I'm going to try to get as many of the air bubbles out at that level as I possibly can, but I am working against the clock, so I have to be careful. Next layer of tape goes on, and I will open up the next portion. As I put tape up the cylinder, it keeps it closed, and I can pour the next layer in. This is the way I've gotten the best results so far. I'm just gonna squeeze, try to get as many of the air bubbles out. If I had a vibration table or something like that to do this on, that would also help. But I do have other priorities about where my money gets spent, and I was actually just chatting with somebody today about a potential of where my money could be spent. There's a model that I am seriously considering, or at least I really want. It is a lot of money, and it's definitely worth it, but it's not just my decision. It is a family decision, so we will have to see how that works out. I'm not going to talk too much specifics-wise. How long is the cure time? Well, the rest of the resin in the little cup will actually solidify in just a minute or 2 from now. Inside the mold, it'll soft cure pretty quickly. And it'll be pullable probably in an hour. So in an hour from now, I'll check this. I'll pull it, see if I got a good cast on that, and if not, I'll pour another. All right, so that is done. Hard cure. I can't remember how long it takes really to get a hard cure, but it pretty much solidifies so that you can pull it out within an hour or so. But if I this is, you're not going to be able to see this. If I come around and pardon the view here for a quick moment. You're going to see my camera's display. I have manual focus on because I was trying to take a decent picture earlier. Okay, there we go. This should be better now. Come on and focus. Focus for me. I guess maybe you need something to focus on. Let's go back to manual focus. Okay, and let's focus on this. That's definitely the better way to do it. This, I can kind of get the stick in there, but it's unworkable now because it has somewhat solidified there. So yeah, it does. In the pot, it sets up. Oh, I don't want all that garbage on the screen. My apologies. You know it's live when you've got all this stuff going on. So, yep, it's set in the cup, but I wouldn't dare pull it out of the mold yet. So, I have really enjoyed getting into all of the casting, the molding and casting portion of this, and really, I talked about this a little bit before, but it came out of necessity on this project because the bottom section of the hull that came with the kit, so basically half the ship, it's such a small ship, but the bottom section came so badly warped, and not the good kind of warp 5 kind of warped, but it was badly warped in the worst way, and the two halves would never mate properly together without distorting the part. And I tried reshaping it under hot water, and the part is so thick that it just didn't want to give, and I tried and tried and tried, and I tried so much that it actually broke the part. It snapped. So I ended up gluing it back together, and fortunately I was able to get it back, glue it back together with a clean seam, but there's no way that I was going to be able to use that part to build the kit. So I ended up taking a mold, and actually I'll show you the mold. I think this is, yep, this is the mold for that bottom section. And it's a two-part mold, goes together, and it's got some keys in it that you can't really see, just to make sure that it goes together properly. And essentially this I secure between two boards, and then pour the resin in the top. Now I am kind of doing the pour in the bottom and slowly close the mold. That's what I've been doing, and it seems to work out quite nicely most of the time. But yeah, it was kind of out of necessity that I did that because it was so badly warped. And one of the nice things about it soft curing quickly and being able to pull it from the mold is that I was able to lay it flat down on the table while it was still pliable. And I was able to get it to shape properly laid down flat. So it actually does lay down quite nicely flat on the table. And it pairs together relatively nicely now with the top section. So yeah, that's good. All right, so first goal for the night is accomplished. The first goal accomplished. We have recast the upper nacelle. So now I want to move on to drilling the post hole in the bottom of the ship. So that's going to be fun. So this is what I'm thinking. Let me drop the part. It's not really a wise thing to do. Let me grab, where did that go? Of course, you don't know what I'm talking about. Somewhere around here, I have a small cutting pad that I have temporarily misplaced. So I will use a kitchen cutting board. These are great because we were using them for kitchen preparation, but they only last for so long, so they migrated out here to the shop. This is the stand. I'm going to zoom the camera right in for you so you have a good look at this and you don't need to worry about looking at my face. Because I want to give you a really good up close look at the stand here. So this is the stand, and if you haven't seen this in one of my update videos, I will show you how this stand works. Let me grab the screwdriver and open it up. And actually, for this, I should really have. I should really lay down a fiber cloth so I don't scratch the base. All right, everybody still here? Everybody still with me? All right, so here's the base. Just grab the Starfleet Delta off the internet and found one that I like because there's many of them, and some of them are not. So some of them are fatter, some of them are wider. So I'm going to open this up. It's got a back panel on it, and it just has 3 screws that holds it closed. This is made out of rock maple, and this has been custom made. The woodwork on this was done by my father. For years, he did custom-made furniture, and the panel just comes right out. Inside, we have a 9-volt battery, just on a battery clip. The positive side is attached to the switch here, and it just sits nicely after a bunch of extra work. It sits nicely inside the base. The wires are just heading up the stand hole, and it does sit in nicely when the stand cover is there. So that's the internals of the stand. So I'm hoping that my stream studio here is accurately showing the chat, because I haven't seen anything come through on the chat in a while. So hopefully that just means that you guys are quiet and I'm not missing anything. Yeah, somebody should just pop something in the chat so that I know it is working. So I'm going to put this back on just to keep everything internalized. And I just have a nice round, and nothing is showing up in the chat. That makes me a little bit concerned. Oh, Thank you, Barry. Thank you for confirming to me that things are working in the chat. I've been doing so much live stream stuff, not just with this, but with work and that kind of thing with COVID going on, since we can't meet in person for anything right now. And the technical issues is sometimes an issue when things are live. Weird things happen when you are live. All right, so one post, one stand. This is just going to be a simple one circuit lighting deal on this model. It's just going to be very simple. So one post, one stand. And I'm going to bring the camera angle up just slightly so you can see what's going on. I'm also going to move it so that it's coming down. So please enjoy the wild ride. I'm going to actually move up the camera a little bit too. Enjoy the wild ride on the camera. There we go. That's probably going to be a little bit better for you, right? There we go. All right. So I'm thinking, because I don't really know how this thing is going to play out weight ratio and balance wise. My guess, my guess is that the balance point on this is probably going to be right here at the warp ejection port on the bottom. So Trekford Creations asks, how do you plan on stabilizing the rod into the ship and leveling it? Well, I'm actually hoping it's not going to be quite level. I kind of like a small canter to the ship, but we'll have to see what's going to be possible with this. I have a small piece of wood that I have cut to size, and actually it's one of these. It's a tongue depressor. And I've cut it to size, and I've tapered the edges here. And that's going, I don't have a lot of room to work with. And that's going to sit on the inside wherever the mounting point is going to be. And I'm hoping that we'll get this installed during the live stream tonight. And I'm going to have to play around with its positioning. If I move it up a little bit further, I think it's actually going to lay flatter, just the shape of the ship. And as I'm feeling this, let me get some parts out here, some original kit parts, since everything else is a little bit in process of being worked on here. I'm getting original kit nacelles and pylons. I'm going to throw them on the back here. And I'm going to, this is really a janky way of doing this. Just to see what kind of weight ratio we're dealing with. And through my entirely unscientific approach here, definitely installing the post closer to the deflector dish is going to be probably the better balance, and it's actually going to give us a flatter surface on the inside to mount. So let me see if I can show this to you. I've tapered the edges so that it will go in very nicely on the tapered edges of the kit, and there is space. Can you see that? Yeah, there's space underneath. Not a huge amount of space, and if I mount it here, I might actually. I don't want to interfere with the deflector dish too much, but I'm thinking that's going to be the best location weight balance wise. Plus, then I don't lose that nice little detail on the bottom here where the warp core ejection port is. So if I put the post here, there is actually a little spot here that I think is meant for a stand to go in, or at least it's marked out for that, which kind of indicates the same thing to me, that that is the equilibrium of the Equinox as far as mounting to a post. Now this isn't the normal way I would mount a model to a post, and the Enterprise E back there, let me give you a good shot. Let's see if I can do it from here. My camera has a decent zoom on it. So let's see if I can zoom. Oh, wrong way. Zoom all the way in to the Enterprise E. And if the lighting and zoom, not zoom, but if the autofocus will work. On the Enterprise E, I've got the brass pole, but I also have a brass T junction in here, just like this. Exactly the same size as this, and it's been cut open, it's been splayed out, and I will see. Actually, I know what I'll do. I will take it off the post, and I will show you exactly what the deal is on that, so you see how I would normally mount a project. This actually hasn't come off the vise in a while. So inside, can you see it? Oh, I'm not sure. There's so many wires in the way. So many wires in the way. Anyway, epoxied on the inside there is the, let's try it this way. Lighting, I think, is the issue. Yeah, lighting is the issue. Let me get my phone flashlight here and see if it will focus a little bit better on it. Can you see it? Can you see it? Okay, maybe you can. Anyway, so the brass junction is in there, and it's splayed out. And the nice thing is this comes right off. So you can lay the post down flat if you want to transport it. So that's the nice part about mounting that way. Let's see. Shortening the brass tube will lower the vertical center of gravity and will help it from tipping over. So that was from Barry, and Trek Forge Creation says, I get your concept. Yeah, I am considering, this isn't necessarily the final length of the post. I'm going to play around with it a little bit and see just where I want that. Again, I'm going to be able to take this off and take the post out, and I'm not wiring anything up tonight, but I would like to get the post where I can install it. So if I install it, say here, trying to look at my screen so that I can see what you see. If I install it here, that's about the balancing point, it would seem. I might go shorter on the post. I want to just see how it all looks together. But I might need to create a bigger piece of wood just so that a little bit more of the post. And I can increase the height of this thing in the kit by a little bit without interfering too badly with the model part. So, I mean, without interfering with the deflector dish. So let's move this aside. Let's guess, I'm going to guess here, on how long I'm going to need this piece in order to raise it up slightly in the model. Okay. Grab one super sharp number 11 blade. Again, this is not my preferred method of attaching a model to the stand, but given the size of this thing, given the space restrictions, it would also be a little bit different if I wasn't lighting it. But I am, and so I need space inside for lighting. This is where a little tiny saw would come in handy, which I don't have anything handy that would cut this. I've got the big circular saw in the corner, but I think that would be a little bit overkill for this. Just a little bit overkill. You know, I was looking at the Crew Dragon, and I was thinking that would make a pretty cool little model build. And then if you were to build that along with the Falcon 9, I think that would look pretty cool. It's amazing. It's amazing the difference in look of the Crew Dragon and the Falcon 9 compared to especially like the interior compared to the Space Shuttle and all those. The Space Shuttle is like PC, fully functional, and function is the priority. The new Dragon console, not console, but capsule, looks like it was made by Apple, because it looks like they were focusing on the look of it more so than the I'm sure it's all functional, but they really made it look like an Apple store inside. At least that's what I think. All right. I should have enough clearance on this to hold the model in place. Although I could go, if I go a little bit wider, I can go a little bit higher because there's a fair bit of depth. Can you see the windows in there? There's a fair bit of depth. It's hard to see, but there's a fair bit of depth below the windows. And I'm trying to avoid covering the windows because I went through so much effort to make sure that the windows were nicely done and visible. Window world, everybody. It's a great place to be. All right. So I think it'll go about there. This is going to be a double layer piece. The first layer that goes in will have a hole drilled into it the same width, like the post can go through. The piece on top will only have a hole large enough for the wire to go through. That way it's got a nice little area to kind of click into when the model's in place. At least that is the concept. I'm going to make this just a tiny bit longer. I'm going to just make one that's just a tiny bit longer. And see how that works. See if that gives me a little bit more clearance for the post to sit in there and be nicely housed in there. I don't want to bond the post into the model, because if I want to be able to travel with it, take it anywhere, I want it to be able, the post to be able to come out, and I want it to be able to pack flat. There we go. Just taper the corners. One of the Facebook groups, they were asking a question, what do you use for model building in a way that it was never, or something that was never intended to be used for model building? And I guess using these tongue depressors as a post-mounting system. It was never meant to be used that way. Okay, I can get, that's a fair bit more clearance, okay. I can get, actually, you know what? I think I prefer the lower. Just by the time I get this epoxied in, I just don't want any of that getting in onto the windows, if that makes sense. Hey Jake, welcome to the stream. I've got this a little bit closer for you so you can see what's going on. I tried attaching my phone wirelessly to my streaming software because it was working the other day when I downloaded this and tested it, but it is not working now. And I wonder if it's, okay, bear with me folks for 1 second while I just check a few settings here. Oh, you know what? I think this is going to work. Aha! There we go. It's actually working this time. So I can expand this. I can set this on. Oh, I accidentally turned it off. That's not going to work. Oh, I can't. Yeah, let's be careful with this. Okay, reacquiring signal. Reacquiring signal. There we go. Success. All right, let's get this. All right. Just going to turn that off so you don't have to worry about the nausea ride there. Let's see if I can get a really good shot of what I'm working on close up here. All right, I think I've got it. All right, let's activate. Aha! How is this? How is this? Can you see what I'm working on? Well, I think you can. So I'm going to reposition a little bit here. Now that we have that other camera working. So I can look at, yeah. And you can see what's going on. Yeah, Jake, I'm just working through some mounting options with this little kit. Yeah. So Jake asks, is that piece of wood for your mounting pole? So I'm working through that right now, just kind of looking through what I want to do with this. So what I'm working on, really small kit. I was showing off the way I would normally mount, and there's just I don't have a. I usually use a brass T, like this. And I usually cut open the top, lay it flat, epoxy it into the model. And this would fit in the model, but the post for this is way bigger than it would need to be. And I think it would be oversized for the size of model that this is. Because the hull is only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 inches long. Now the nacelles will come back a little bit further on that, but I don't think that I think that the larger post would be way out of scale, and I can't find one of these any smaller than this. So yeah, so I've just been working on. So Jake, I've just been trying to figure out where the center of balance is with this once nacelles and everything is on. And originally I was looking at drilling, putting the post through the warp engine ejection port. But I think that's going to be a little bit too far back because there's a whole pile of resin in this. If you might be able to get a better look on the, and actually I can actually show you just how badly, like look how, where's the camera? Look how badly warped that is. You can see that it flares down on that. But this is thick resin here, and yeah, there's a fair, for such a small piece, there's a fair bit of resin in here compared to how much is in the back and how much is going to be there with the warp nacelles. So it looks like once everything's on the model, that center of balance is actually going to be closer to the deflector dish. So I'm thinking right where that square detail is there. Oh, actually, this is showing up pretty. Oh, my phone's just having a little bit of a hard time focusing there. But yeah, right where that square detail is, I think that's where the post is going to go, just between the deflector dish and the phaser strip there. So so Jake says, get piece of thick balsa wood, drill about 3/4 of the way through, then drill hole just big enough for your wires to fit through. Yeah, essentially, I don't have balsa wood, and right now, under our lockdown situations, I don't really have many options for getting things. But I'm double or maybe even triple layering this, depending on how much I can fit into the model. So you can actually see, so it's tapered. It's almost essentially like balsa wood, but the edges are tapered. And I'm going to at least layer on one more level, if not two. I'll have to play around a little bit to see how the post sits in. But at least 1 or 2 layers will be drilled through the full diameter of the post. And then the top layer will go on, and we'll just have a hole drilled in it big enough for the wires to go through. So essentially the same concept. I'm just going to be laminating those pieces together. So I should actually probably get working on this. So let's get the box of drill bits out. Actually, how long has it been? 9:57 here in Kingston, Ontario, and I'm just going to check to see. Oh, the other thing that I did first thing, Jake, is I can't remember if I told you or not, but I ended up with a nasty air bubble in. And now that I have this going, I can show you guys a bit better. A nasty, Okay, phone, focus, focus, focus. Oh, you can definitely see it in there. A nasty air bubble right inside the chiller grill. And I thought, okay, once I get the transparent blue, like the clear blue paint on, it probably won't be too visible, but it is definitely visible, especially if you get some lighting in underneath. And I don't have anything to show you. My bench power supply is over on my workbench over there, but can you see? Can you see? Yeah, you saw that in the post. So I've got a new nacelle here poured. So I poured this first thing in the stream. So I'm just going to let that sit for about an hour to cure up enough so I can pull it, evaluate it, and if it's a good part, there it is on the phone. If it's a good, like it's already solid in there. That's not an issue. I just want to make sure that it gets enough time to cure enough that it's not going to like pull apart. James Kirk is here. Hi, how's it going? Going really well. Thanks for joining the stream. Thanks for saying hi in the stream. I don't really know who's here unless you say something in the chat. So thanks for saying hello in the chat. So yeah, so give it another I don't know, 15 minutes or so, and we'll pull this out of the mold and see how that looks. Because if it's most of the parts with this kit that I've recast have gone pretty well. Like these are the pylons that I recast with the wires inside, and there's a few issues right at the joints where it'll join up with the hull and with the nacelles, but that's going to be puttied and filled, no issue, and resculpted a little bit. But everything else has come out really, really well. I've just had issues upon issues with just the tops of the nacelles on this. So yeah, I've got one that's really good that has the first layer of blue alclad on it, and again, this other one just didn't turn out very well. So I thought it was going to be good with the bubble, but alas, no. So I'm going to pull out the Boxo drill bits. And sitting on top of my box of drill bits is a runabout that I did when I was a kid. So a little bit of insight into how I built kits when I was, well, this would have been a teenager, I guess, in the 90s. Hand painted. The hull wasn't painted. It's just the raw plastic. No clear coat over decals or anything like that. I didn't know how to build models properly back then. Oh well. Okay, the Boxo drill bits. Let's find the appropriate sized drill bit for this. And I'm going to set this up here. That is not the appropriate size. I need to go one larger, I think. I need to move that camera so that the box is not in my line of sight. So Jake, is this better for you tonight? Is this better visually for you? And I really do appreciate the feedback, by the way. So let's see if this one's going to be, no, I'm going to have to do a test drill on something. Yes, perfect, great. Also, I figured out how to get less delay on YouTube last night, and Tess ran it in a live stream for work this morning, and I think I got it down to about 10 seconds of delay. So I think this one's going to be just too big. Yeah, that one's just going to be too big. I'm just afraid that this one might just be a little bit too narrow. So I'm just going to throw the splash screen on here that says be right back because I left my drill out in the other room and I'm going to go grab that. So I will be right back. Ha! I forgot to turn my microphone back on. There we go. And I didn't have the chat open on my screen. So my apologies, guys. My apologies. Whoops. Hey, did anybody hear? Wow, that's going to be like... That's going to be so super tight in there. I'm back. Yes, I'm back. I'm back. Did anybody hear what happened to Boyd's stream last night? Because he kind of just dropped off the face of the earth there and didn't hear anything. I don't know if it, and I don't know if he came back on and I just missed it or what. So, okay. Yeah, I'm thinking that I might need to just make that a little bit bigger. I might want to go the 2 layers. Two layers might be the thing. I just need it basically to hold that in place when the post is in. Yeah, I'm going to basically laminate it with epoxy, and yes. But I'm thinking I'm definitely going to need 2 layers of the larger hole, and then the 1 layer of the other size hole. So, okay, I'm going to move this way just ever so slightly. There we go. That was a little bit closer to me, and you can see. All right, so the trick is going to be, I think that I'm going to need to drill the scary part, drill the hole into the model first. Then I'm going to need to insert the post, and I might just dab it on an ink pad, put it in, and then put the piece of wood where it needs to go, and that should indicate to me exactly where I need to drill the hole. And then when I go to epoxy in place, I will epoxy it in place with the post inside, so everything lines up and I don't have any misaligned issues after. So don't need the 3rd layer, it's overkill. Well, this is so thin. So okay, so here's what I'm thinking. It's going to go, so it is going to go through the model, so there's going to be rigidity that way with it going in. So it's going to be secured going through the model, and then it's going the end is going to sit in here. And I'm just not quite sure that the thickness of that, whatever that thickness is, I mean, it's only, it might be 2 millimeters. Might be. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm just not sure that's going to be. I think if I do 2 layers, it might just sit in there just that much more that it's going to be a little bit more secure. And then obviously the 3rd layer on top is just to cap it off so that the post doesn't go all the way through, and it will just allow the wires to come out. So that's what I'm thinking. Give me your feedback on that. Let me think. Let me know what you think. What's the consensus of the chat? 2 layers or 3 layers? 2 layers or 3 layers? 2 layers or 3 layers? Let me know in the chat. Not that it's necessarily modeling by consensus, but definitely gives me a little bit of a hand in making that decision. James Kirk thinks that I don't need all 3 layers. I'm just waiting to see what everybody else says. But let's get started. I don't need this wood piece for the moment. Ah! Shavings all over the place. Okay. Shavings all over the place. The 2 pieces will work just when you put the pole up inside the ship, epoxy the pole to the wood, and then put the... Okay, so I'm not epoxying the pole into the ship. The reason being is that when I want to transport it, I want to be able to take the pole out, lay it flat, so that it's not being transported on the post. Steve Copsey says 2 looks right. But yeah, so that's why I'm thinking the 3, just so that I can take it on and off the post. The post won't ever be separated completely from the model and the base because the wires are going through, and I'm not creating a way of separating the wires. But I just want to be able to, let me just see if I can show you what I'm thinking here. So you got the base, the post, and the ship, and so it would be like this. And yeah, this is definitely, the post is definitely too tall, that's for sure. But I want to be able to take it out, bend it down, and lay it all flat in case I need to transport it, right? Leave enough wire in the base to pull the pole out of the base, but that's a good idea as well. Yeah, so I'm going to leave enough wire. Obviously that's not enough to go through the post and into the base, but I'm going to be leaving enough so that it kind of creates a Z shape going down, and it's not pulling on anything inside. James Kirk says, put the drill on the post to get the right drill size, then use a 3mm drill bit to make the first pull. Yeah, the pilot pull, and go up until it almost goes in, then use a round file to finish it so it's snug. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at there. I've got my little file, my little round file here, just in case I need it. And yeah, so I'm going to be starting with a small pilot hole. I'm not going to be taking going like to my model. That's for sure. I don't want to recast the bottom portion of this and go through all that process again. I've only got until July 30th to get this thing done, so I don't have time for that. I don't mind recasting a nacelle. That's okay, but recasting the rest of it, that ain't going down. So I'm gonna grab my pin vise. I'm gonna do some handy dandy measurements. Oh, and I see that there's like looks like there is a watermark that comes up when I'm using this free iPhone app for this. All right. Yeah, no, it's definitely a good idea, and there's no way that I am going to do anything involving power tools before I drill a nice pilot hole. So I want to make sure that this is actually casted symmetrical here. And yes, it looks like it is centered. So a Sharpie if the Sharpie works. There we go. A Sharpie will indicate where the pilot hole goes. All right. What iPhone do I have? It is an iPhone 6. So not overly up to date, but it works. And I will be keeping this iPhone until such time as it dies, because I don't know if you've noticed, but iPhones are super expensive now. And so I will be holding on to this one for as long as it lives. And, you know, I'm really curious, who is Mac and who is PC in the chat? Let me know who is Mac and who is PC. Yeah, I'm keeping a really close eye on the mark. And let me see if I get so apparently Yeah, so apparently this app is, all right, where's the camera on this phone? Okay, there's the focus. There is the initial pilot hole started. There we go. In your opinion, the 5S was the best one? Yeah, the 5s were actually, I can't remember what the 5s looked like now. I had a 4. My first iPhone was a 4, and then it was stolen on me. So my day job, I am a pastor, and a youth pastor, kids pastor, music pastor, everything pastor. And so I look after programming for students and kids and music and all that kind of stuff. And I was, we were just, where I was working, I was just north of Toronto. And we had a program night for our junior highs. And my iPhone 4 was in my office. Our offices were just off one of the main hallways, so it wasn't like super secure or anything like that. But you can see the hole, the pilot hole there. And I think I used the largest bit that I have for the pin vise. So yeah, I'm gonna need to slowly move up. Oh. Slowly move up in size. Until I get to the size I want, just so that I can keep it relatively centered there. So yeah, it was on charge in my office, and hold on, I just had another thought. Do I have a drill bit attachment for? Is there such a thing as a drill bit attachment for your Dremel? Is that a thing? I've never. I mean, I have drill bits for my Dremel. Unfortunately, they are not pointed at the end. These ones are, but if I get James Kirk, sorry, but I'm not an iPhone fan. Xperia, Samsung, both have better cameras and photo apps. Yeah? I am. Okay, let's see. Is this the same? No, that's just a little bit smaller, but I don't think I'm going to have a, and this one's just a little bit bigger. I was thinking that if I could use my Dremel, it would be a little less no, I don't have a drill bit that it, maybe I do, never mind. Maybe I do. Huzzah. So maybe this. And it is, I should use the smaller one first, and I think I'll just end up using my drill. I was just thinking that the Dremel might be a little less unwielding than the other. Yeah, they both have their ups and downs. Anyway, so what brings me to that topic is that, this is a scary moment. Anytime you poke big holes in your model, for me, I think it's a scary moment. Windows is one thing, and I'm talking windows in my model. Like doing let's see what kind of image I can get here. Doing those 4 windows on the Enterprise E, those were scary because I really didn't want to mess them up. I've got the epoxy in there now, so they're a little. Also, the camera is in a weird place compared to the phone, so. Those 4 windows were a bit of a challenge to do because they're bigger, and they were scary because you don't want to mess them up. But yeah, anytime that you drill a hole into your model, it can be scary. And I think I'm going to take one more precaution here. I'm going to take some gaffer tape. Tape this down here. Oh, all right, Jake. I will talk to you later. Have a good night. All right, so let's gaffer this down. The gaffer tape should come off, no problem. All right, perfect. Well, have a good night, Jake. And I'm sure I will talk to you during the week. All right. Let's do this. Let's see if I can do this without blocking the camera. Very gingerly. Ha! There we go. One slightly bigger hole, gingerly placed into the model. I'm committed now. I'm committed on where this is going. All right, let's up the size. That one goes there. Let's go up one size. And we're eventually trying to get to, where did I put that? Is it this one? Yeah, we're trying to get to this drill bit here. And so we'll just continue to go up in size a little bit until we get there. I just gaffer taped the model to the board so that it wouldn't pinwheel on me. Oh, you know what? I totally forgot to plug in my iPhone. And so it just went to low battery status and refuses to do the video under low battery status. So give me a moment here and I will try to get her reinstalled. So she's going to need a minute to regain, to restart. I should really let's do this. It keeps falling over on me. So a little bit of gaffer tape will prevent it from falling over. There we go. All right, so while my phone reboots, and let me just get that black box off the screen until it's ready to go. Next. Next drill in place. Just going to do a quick check to make sure that it is still centered relatively well. Looks like it is still centered well, so that is good. What time are we at? 10:26. You know what? As soon as I get this hole drilled, we are going to pull that mold and see just how well we've done on it. Okay, next size up. Oh. That was not the bit from there. That goes there. Keep my drill bits organized. James Kirk says looking good. Thank you. It's the stuff that is fiddly and just takes some time and works out better if you're willing to be patient with it. So, okay. Next size up is good. And then just have one more. There I am, not putting them back properly. That one came from there. This is the next one I want to do. All right, I think the phone is ready to be turned back on, but it's gonna require me typing in my password while it's on this weird stand. All right, let's see if I can get that back on so that you can see a little better up close how it's going. Okay. Oh, a little bit of pinwheeling. Now I think I'm good to go on the final size bit, and I think I've got that camera back up and running. There we go. All right. Okay. So final bit going in. And with that should be the mounting hole. Yeah, that's awfully tight. Just making sure that it was symmetrical all the way around, not giving me any issues that way. That is super tight. I wonder. There is a significant thickness of resin there, and that is super tight. Anybody know what I'm thinking? Yeah, file don't drill. No, I just want I wasn't trying to make the hole bigger with the drill. I just wanted to make sure that it actually got symmetrical with it. So yeah, but this is a super tight. Okay, opinion, guys. Opinion. Yeah, opinion. Like, I am flaring this thing around. It is a super tight. That is a super tight pressure fit. Opinion. Is pressure fit going to stand the test of time? If it's not going on and off very often, will pressure fit stand the test of time? Because that is a fairly impressive pressure fit going on there. this is actually an exciting moment. So far, nobody has an opinion. Eventually, by pulling the post in and out, it might crack the hole. Interesting. So you're thinking I should probably definitely file the hole just that little bit bigger so it slides in and out easily, and then do the mounting inside. I mean, I had no intention of doing a pressure fit. I just saw how nicely and snug that fits, but yeah. Stress cracking, yeah. Good point. One of the reasons I like doing these lives, you get other people's input and stuff like that. So, but I'm going to have to take a picture of this for sure. And I'm going to need to record a segment for my update video. So I'm going to do that right here, right now, so you guys will get a little bit of a sneak peek into my into me recording for an update video. And the nice thing is that my streaming software allows me to record as well while I'm streaming, so I can deal with that right here on the spot. Let me just adjust the camera a little bit so that my head is properly in frame. And I'll be able to have that extra view, which I think I will back off just a little bit here so that you get a bit of a better view of what's going on. And I will tilt this a little bit, and that way it's on an angle for both views. All right. Steve says, I will agree with James, file it a touch. Yeah, I will do that. I just thought I'd throw it out there. Oh my, I've got COVID here right now. We do not have hairstylists or anything like that open. So we are all surviving without a proper haircut. And all my grays really don't show up until my hair gets too long. So, all right. So let's do a little bit of recording together, shall we? And actually, so I don't have to worry about video audio sync. Let's just start recording. Just in the middle of a live stream, and everybody who's on the live stream is watching this as I record this, but I've been working on getting the model attached to the post, and I've got just a little bit of a mock-up to see what it's going to look like, and I agree with most people in the chat that say that it really needs to have a shorter post, so that's going to be dealt with and taken care of. But this is how it's going to look. I've just finished drilling the initial hole for the post, and we've just had a conversation in the chat. I was wondering about a pressure fit here, but the consensus is definitely file it down a little bit and do the mounting system that I talked about earlier. So, but I thought it would be cool just to see how this is looking, as it might look on the stand. Obviously, there's no nacelles on it that kind of thing. It looks like it's relatively, I'll just take a look. Yeah, it's got a fairly level line on it, and I think it'll sit quite nicely. I'll need to make sure that it's all level once I get the wood inside. So my next job here is going to be filing the hole just a little bit so that the pole freely moves in and out and will attach to the wood that's going to be inside for the post. There we go. Segment recorded. One shot, one only. Doesn't always happen. Often I have to. Yeah. Let's not do a pressure fit. Quite often I need to do several takes of that kind of thing. Depends on the day. Depends on how much talking I've done. I really should have cleaned that off before I put the fiber cloth down. But let's get rid of all the little sawdust here. Put that over there for the moment. And actually, let's just clean off all the little bits of tongue depressor, etc. And let's see how this turned out. It's always a surprise. I'll move. Oop. This stand that my phone is on, I actually found it had been left behind, and we kept it around for probably a good year, and nobody claimed it. But yeah, so if you weren't with us at the beginning of the stream, my upper pylon right here has a really nasty focus, iPhone focus. Anyway, you can see it from the bottom. A really nasty air bubble in there, and even after the blue alclad went on, it is still visible. So that is a no-go. So that is a failed casting in my mind. James Kirk, yeah, I looked like Grizzly Adams until I could get to the barber. Yeah. I was fortunate that I went and got my hair cut right before everything kind of got shut down. So actually I should do this. I should peel this open so you can see it on the phone cam. There we go. I'm going to slowly peel the other side. I just want to be careful because it's still pliable. First look, I mean, I haven't pulled the end out, and that's the tricky part, the way that I've done the mold here. I need to be very, very, very careful. But that looks, I mean, there's tiny air bubbles, and there's no way I'm getting around that. There's no way I'm getting around that without a pressure pot. But this actually looks like it is the best cast of this part I've tried to do to date. There's actually going to be very little repair work to do on this because of air bubbles or anything like that. Yeah, this is much better. Now I need to take the top portion off, and if I do it very carefully, it's a lot easier to do while the part is still somewhat soft, but It needs to be done, again, gingerly. So I'm going to cut the tip off here. And this is just the overflow for the resin in the mold there. So as it fills, and if it fills properly, all the excess will come out, and that's the way I know that it's probably filled. Also, I can coax the air bubbles out of it a little bit. And this is not a recommended procedure here, because you could slice your thumb open. Yeah. The more I can trim this now, while it's a little soft and pliable, the more work after the fact I'm going to save myself. Because once this hard cures, it's definitely more of a pain. All right, that's the best I can do right now, because I don't want to mess with this too much, but that allows it to sit flat. Wow, I am really, really satisfied. Again, if my the phone's going to have a really hard time focusing on that clear part, but I am very very happy with how this part has come out of the mold. That's got to be the best attempt at casting this upper nacelle part I have had come out to date. And I've thrown out a lot of upper nacelles on this because it's tricky. It's such a hard piece to get out without having a pressure pot. And talking about pressure pots, James Kirk says, could you possibly make a do-it-yourself vacuum chamber and get rid of the air bubbles? Possibly. I mean, what do you need? You need a vacuum sealable vessel that will withstand certain amounts of pressure. You need an air compressor, and you need to be able to pump the, use a gray card behind the part you want the camera to focus on. Yeah, I don't normally have to worry about it because my my actual camera has manual focus and works really well. Do you want to see the part? Tell me in the chat if you want to see the part up close, and I will move the camera and show that to you. Which wouldn't be a bad thing to do for my update video anyway. What do you think? Oh wow, it's already 10:46 Eastern time. I don't think I'm going to get through my whole to-do list tonight, but I am super happy with how that part came out, and I've made good progress on the stand. So, what about a home vacuum cleaner to provide the suction? And yes, please. My understanding is that in order to get the bubbles out, you actually add, you increase the pressure, so you create a more atmospheres of pressure inside the pot, and it the pressure that's built up inside the pot basically shrinks the air bubbles to the point that they're not visible, like the molecules to the point where they're not visible, and then it cures under pressure. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe there's a vacuum way of doing it, but my understanding is with a pressure pot, you actually create a positive pressure within the pot, and that forces the molecules of the air to get closer together, or something like science. But yes. All right. I am going to move the camera. So give me a moment to do that, and I'm going to throw you back to the splash screen for just a moment. Sorry, I just had to check something. I lost the picture for a moment. I'm just realigning the camera to give you that look. Actually, I can do that with you here, with you joining me. All right. And actually, this is going to be a lot easier for me to focus in on the part. Okay. And let's turn the display back on for a moment. Let's move this over to manual focus so we don't lose focus on the part. Turn the display off. And I'm just going to take a quick peek on my camera. Does that look like it's in focus to you guys? Let me just try to sure it up again. A clear part is very difficult to catch focus on. But yeah, so it's in focus. There we go. All right, let's hit the record button and record a quick segment. Showed you earlier that there is an air bubble in the upper nacelle part on one of the pieces that I was working on, and you can see it right there. You can see the air bubble really well under this lighting. So I've just done a recast, and I am very happy with the way this has come out. It's really hard to see a clear part on the camera, but I've done a quick look over it, and I am not seeing too much that's going to have to be done in the refinement process. Obviously, once I get some gray primer on it, then any little any pits or divots or air bubbles will show up really well, and I'll be able to take care of those. But looking especially, let's see if I can get in a little bit closer, especially on the chiller grills and the bizarre collectors, it doesn't look like there's anything in there that's going to cause me any problem. So I am really happy with the way that this piece came out. So like the last piece, I'm going to mask it off. I'm going to get the light blocking done on the inside. I'm going to get the alclad on the outside, and then we will move forward along with the other one that is already in process. And with that, another segment has been recorded. Perfect. All right, move the camera back a little bit and up a little bit. We're going to turn the automatic focus back on because I can't focus it from the table. There we go. And let's see if I am in frame. Well, sort of. Yeah, it looks, again, really hard to show you on the camera. I'll turn oh, I didn't turn the display off. You don't need all that gobbledygook on the screen. There we go. Much better. let me turn the iPhone cam back on there. Yeah, I am really happy with the way that this has turned out. It's looking really, really good. Now, just something of interest to note. This epoxy resin. This resin comes out just slightly cloudy, and again, I think that's probably got to do with the fact that I'm not using a pressure pot. And I have another type of resin that's actually from Michaels. It's also a 1-to-1 ratio, and it will sometimes come out water clear or really close to water clear. This is a cast of the bottom of the nacelle that I haven't used. Came out really, really clean and almost water clear. This is the same stuff that I've used for, let's see here. Is this one of the good ones? Yeah. This is the same stuff that I've used for, can anybody tell what that is? Any guesses what this is? If you've watched any of my other updates, you might already know what this is. Can you focus? So yeah, that is a 1400E window, and that is specifically, look at this, I'm doing so much talking instead of getting actual work done. That's okay. That's okay. That is for the observation deck of the shuttle bay to facilitate lighting of that part, because that part otherwise is just in the white plastic, thick as anything, and would be a real pain to clean out. So instead of trying to go through the arduous process of cleaning it out, I cast that part. And actually, that's the first little bit of mold making and casting I ever did. And I was really happy with how that turned out. Why not use the photo etch? Again, I would have to drill out, and I have the photo etch. And the thing I like about the photo etch is it corrects those windows to look more like the up-close visuals we got in whichever of the movies. I think it was Insurrection, where we actually got to see the shuttlecraft leave that shuttle bay. But it corrects it to look more like that. But I'd still have to clean out that part and fill it. And that piece, the way that that piece has been cast, it is so incredibly thick you won't be able to see it on the clear piece, but I might just have, I have the original part here, and if it's going to focus, because of how it sits in there, there we go, there. So there's that step in there, and that's how it attaches to the hull. And it is super uber thick in there, and so cleaning that out would be a pain. So instead, I decided to do it clear. I'm also in the process of R&Ding a shuttle bay to put in there. So my goal is to have an open shuttle bay in that 1400E. So I'm currently working through that process right now, which is one of the reasons why there hasn't been an Enterprise E update, because I don't actually have anything to show, because I'm mostly doing R&D on that shuttle bay right now because I haven't seen anybody do a shuttle bay on the E in the 1400. I've seen it done in the 42-inch fiberglass kit, but I haven't, and that's a much bigger kit. That's a dream kit for me, but I don't think it's being made anymore. The guy that repopped it, I think, isn't even making it anymore. And so if you want to get it, you have to get it from somebody who doesn't want it anymore, and that's kind of a hard thing to find. So, all right, what are we doing now? Okay, so that part has been pulled. I'm going to put this over here on the workbench so it doesn't get in with anything else. I'm going to put that right beside the part, right beside the good part that is already in process, so that I don't forget. All right. Could scratch build. I'm not that far yet. Haven't explored the option. Yeah, so it's not a very complicated shuttle bay. If you look at, let's see if I can. Oh, it went over to that screen over there. Let's see if I can pull that reference shot up. I just redid my storage because I just installed a new where did that go? Actually, I know how I need to do this. Let's throw this into my presentation software. Okay, let's throw that into the timeline. And now I can, ooh. There we go. So this is the reference shot for it. It's basically an empty room with some paint on the floor and on the wall. So that should be fairly simple for me to reconstruct, I think. So that's the reference shot I have. I think that reference shot was probably taken from the movie. So that's what I've got to work from. I think it's going to be fairly. I think it's going to be fairly simple to do, and I think it should turn out really well. I have some 1400 scale shuttles and runabouts and stuff, so I can populate the bay with that kind of thing. All right, it is 11 p.m. That's about as far as I was planning to go with the stream tonight, but yeah, I think that 2 hours is going to be it for me on stream. But okay, so I didn't accomplish everything that I was hoping to, but some really good conversation and strategy on the mounting part for this. Plus, I'm going to have to epoxy that in. That's going to stink. I might actually want to do that during the day when I can have the big garage door open. But Trek Forge Creations, your recast did turn out really well, though. Yeah, I'm really happy with that. So I think I'm going to call it a night on that, and I will work on installing the. I'm going to work on refining that post hole and installing this stuff off camera, but I will document all of it for my update video, the next one. So it's taking me an average of 2 weeks to film an update video at the rate of work I'm getting in on this right now. I do have a time limit on this. I'm building this for the Trek Yards model showcase Facebook page contest. And it was originally due end of April, but with all the COVID-19 stuff going on, they've extended the deadline, and we just found out that it's going to be July 30th is going to be the new deadline for that contest. So my goal is going to be to finish it by then. I'm not going to rush it if I don't get it done for the contest. It's not going to be the end of the world because I'd rather have a product at the end that I'm really happy with than rush through it for the contest. I think I should maybe be able to do it. Yeah. I'm really slow, and the reason I'm mostly really slow is just because of the number of hours I have in a day to work on it. The only time I can work on the models is really this time of night after my daughter's gone to bed and fully settled and everything like that. So the amount of time I can spend on it is a little bit restricted, so that's why it takes me a bit longer than, say, other people who have the time to spend lots of time on it. I'm just looking at this from the bottom. I don't know if you can see, it's going to show very well, but you can kind of see the wood in there. And I'm seeing a decent amount of depth. Actually, oh wait, no, it's not big enough for me to put the post through, so it'll go all the way through to the wood and test that out. But all right, I hope that you have enjoyed this live. If you are new to the channel, you haven't done so yet, make sure that you hit the subscribe button before you go. You'll make me very happy if you do. If you liked it, give the video a like. I'm sure it helps out. I mean, I'm not big enough for it to really have a huge effect, but it's nice to see the likes on there. So that also makes me very happy to see those. But I will be back next Sunday night, hopefully, with another live stream of whatever I happen to be working on the project at the time. And you should see an update video tentatively on Friday of this week. So hopefully I will have enough work done by then to get that update video out to you on Friday. I'm averaging Fridays every 2 weeks or something like that. So, all right, have a good night, guys. Thank you for taking the time to hang out with me. It's been a lot of fun. It's been great just to kind of chat back and forth with you through the chat. And I'm going to keep doing this, I think, as long as I'm able to. So have a great night. And my name's Andrew, and this has been Canadian Starships. Have a great night, everyone.